This is Justin Cady with ESFI. I'm sitting here with Snoopeh of CLG.EU. How are you doing, man?
I'm great, man. It's nice to be in Austin. I was in Dallas last week and now here in Austin. Not a chance to explore the place yet, but so far enjoying the tournament here at Lone Star Clash too.
How have you enjoyed the last week? I know you've been hanging out with a lot of the TESPA guys, right?
Yeah, we went out a couple of nights. We had a barbecue last night. I think we're actually going tomorrow to shoot some guns, which I'm looking forward to. Never shot guns before, so it's first time for everything. Looking forward to that tomorrow.
Welcome to America. So, since CLG.EU is primarily known for their late game comps and teams, do you think the nerfs to the Holy Trinity, as it were, is going to affect your playstyle at all?
No, they definitely won't. We're actually very good at Kog'Maw as one of our favorite ADs. We just don't really play it that much anymore. So we can always revert back to that hyper carry thing with Kog'Maw. So I don't think it's really going to affect us too much.
At World Championships, your only losses were to Korean teams. Have you been practicing against them, and are you making more strategies to counteract them, or are you just kind of working on perfecting the strategies that you have now to better play against them?
I think one of the things we lack now that we're back in the Western world, specifically America, I mean Europe's a little bit better off, but we used to be in Korea. We stayed there for 2 months and we were practicing day in, day out against the Koreans, and that was like the best environment you can possibly play in. Now we're in America, we're actually traveling a lot more often now, so we don't really have the chance to practice as much as we'd like to. But I think when you're going into a game, it's not so much about preparing for your opponent, it's about preparing yourself. Not trying to say they're going to play this, I'm going to play that to counter it. Just play what you're comfortable with and then force them to adapt instead of you having to adapt to them.
So what would you say is their strength then? If you're not really, is it just the raw mechanical skill? Because if you're going to play your own game, it just all depends to you then, right?
Yeah, it's entirely up to you. Like, if you're confident enough in your playstyle, you ultimately believe you're going to win. Like, if we're confident enough in our team, we know we're going to win. Maybe not the early game. The thing is, Koreans love the early aggression. They like to group up, take towers early, for example. That's not really our style. We've adopted it a little bit in some games, but typically we're more a late game team. So we'll pick towards a late game, whereas Koreans will look for the early game picks. So if we can grind it out, slow down their mad rush at the start of the game, and we can consequently come back at the end of the game and win it.
I was actually talking to Crepo yesterday, and he was saying your first couple days out there, you guys just got smashed. What did you have to learn to how did you have to adopt, or what did you adopt to counteract or adapt to that sort of play?
I think when we were in Europe, for example, it was more passive oriented. People would just farm up, get to mid-late game, and then start team fighting. And it was a bit more linear. It always happened the same way. Whereas now when we went out to Korea, for that first 1 to 2 weeks, we just got absolutely slaughtered because we did not grip on turrets. What happens is they'll come with 3 people onto your 2v1 lane, or they'll bring 4 to a 4v2 lane and make it a 4v2 lane now. And what happens is you need to be there before they do that. If you can have 2 people on the turret, there's less chance for them to make anything happen. So basically, having map vision is really important early game against Koreans. So you can respond to them sending 3 people top, for example, or 2 people bottom to meet up with a 2v2 bottom already for dives. So if you can get there before they send these people there, then, or just get there at the exact same time when they're doing the dive, you can capitalize on what they're doing and ultimately avoid the early game aggression, or slow it down at least.
Well, it's no secret you guys are known for the late game and stalling out. Do you ever feel pressured to kind of stick with that identity, or is that just something that just works for you and you're cool with sticking with it?
I don't think we're pressured by that. I think one thing, our team is very calm and collected. So if a game drags out, we know that our team, a lot of teams can crumble under pressure like that. We don't crumble under pressure. We can keep it together, and that's one of our advantages. We don't feel like we have to stick to that. It's just one of the advantages of our team is we're quite calm. We know each other inside out. We know if we just drag it out, we can win. So we never put ourselves down during a game.
Some people have kind of claimed that CLG.EU's losses in the Season 2 World Championships were because Wicked got banned out. Do you think that is true at all, or is it just they had better play or something?
It actually as well, and okay, Wicked did get banned out. His champion pool's not the biggest champion pool, but another thing was early aggression. For example, our level 1 wasn't as solid as the Koreans, or not the Koreans, the Asians. Their level 1s are a lot more solid than most Western teams. So what happens is we lose that early jungle advantage, and from that it can snowball very hard. I think that was one of the main causes, along with Wicked's limited champion pool, the early aggression and not responding well enough to it, Because what happens is when you go into a game and they invade on you, you're inherently at a disadvantage straight away. So you have to either invade or respond to that invade. Because if you don't respond, which is what we did at World Finals, we didn't respond to an invade, and consequently I got set behind, and it can snowball the game very hard.
Well, you said that Wicked doesn't have the biggest of pools. Is he working on anything? And if he is there what kind of champions can we look at?
Well, for example, at MLG Dallas, he started playing York. Never played York. He picked up Rumble again. He hasn't been playing Rumble for a long time, but he picked that up again here at this tournament. He is more open to playing more champions, but I think he's always set in his way. He loves bruisers, so we kind of have to pull him away from that and then get some more APs in there just to mix up the team comps a little bit.
Froggen is known to kind of take your jungle a little bit, take your wolves, take your race. Do you ever think that you would be more effective with that extra farm, or is it just all part of the plan to, get him ultra fed while you can be effective enough and kind of basically, I guess, make you kind of a support in the fact that you are doing as much as you can with as little as you have? Is that, do you ever wish you had that extra farm, or is just all good?
Well, basically, I was actually one of the first junglers to kind of adopt the support mentality, where you go the double gold pretends and you play something with CC, more CC orientated. And I think that was actually, I was part of making that meta happen. Whether you like the meta or whether you don't like the meta, it is actually the most efficient meta right now, is to play a support tanky jungler that has a lot of crowd control, which is like stuns, knockups, snares, whatever, and then having your mid get extra farmed, and because you don't need the gold, as long as you can provide the CC to the team, you don't actually need the gold. So you may as well pass it off to your AP mid, and that's what we've been doing very well over the past couple of months.
Well, you mentioned it is really good. You made the meta, or you helped make the meta what it is right now. With the Season 3 changes coming up and the jungle changes, have you ever got a chance to check out the new jungle or the new items? And if so, what do you think it's gonna? How do you think it's gonna change?
Well, I got a chance. Riot invited us out. They wanted some playtest on the new jungle specifically. Was like one of the biggest things, and a couple of new items that got brought in. And they invited a bunch of pro players out just to get their opinion, their feedback before they made these big changes to the game. And they are looking to steer away from the support-oriented junglers. I think they're struggling right now to keep it balanced so that you can still play them. And they're swinging more to carry junglers, such as your Jaxes, your Gangplanks, your Mundos, for example, Lee Sin. I think they need to be careful they don't swing it too much one way and make the tanky junglers not viable. But I do believe in Season 3 you're going to see a lot more carry junglers, which means less farm mids, more carry-oriented junglers, which is I'm going to have to adopt to that as well.
Well, as a jungler, you have a unique position that you interact with a lot of people in the laning phase. Knowing that, who do you think is just the best laner out there?
I would pretty much hands down say Froggen. Like, he has the best vision of how a lane works. Not specifically like mid lane, for example. I wouldn't say he's got the best mechanics or vision top lane, because he doesn't play it that often. So it's not fair to say he could have that. I think other top laners understand it better than he does. But for mid lane specifically, having more knowledge about your lane itself, I think he knows a lot more about it than anyone else in the competitive scene.
Well, you've been to huge events like Season 2, MLG, IPL, DreamHacks, IEM, and so on. How does that kind of compare to the more, I guess, homely and I guess a little bit more intimate Lone Star Clash or any other sort of events like that?
I think it's actually a lot more personal. I mean, I did a thing and I went to Germany. It was Take TV. It was literally 10 of us in an apartment, and it was a lot of fun. We just had we cooked food, we drank a couple of beers, we just had a lot of fun. It was a wicked weekend. You come here to Lone Star and it's all the college guys that are actually supporting the scene. I think that's fantastic. Like, seeing like up to 50 volunteers creating a tournament pretty much out of nothing is quite inspiring to see, and I'm really happy to come and support that. And it's also great to meet all the StarCraft guys here. They're, like, you don't really get that interaction if you go to a big event. You would not interact with the StarCraft players as much, and I've been interacting with them every single day, so it's great to like close the two communities together.
Yeah, I saw you were hanging out with or chumming out with Stefano a little bit. You guys trying to make the bridge the gap between the I guess you could say the hatred, I guess you could say, between the two?
Well, he's slowly becoming converted over to League of Legends.
Well, thank you very much, man. Would you like to say anything to your fans or anything, or any shout-outs?
I would love to thank the fans. They've been absolutely fantastic, supporting us over the past couple of months. No matter the hard times, the good times, whatever, they've turned out in their thousands. And I can't appreciate it enough. You guys have been fantastic. And also the sponsors, Razer, XMG, On3D, and EloBuff. They've been fantastic over the past year supporting us. So thanks very much, guys.
All right, thank you very much, man.
Peace.